ॐ श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। So Ramesh Krishnamurti, I am unmuting you. Okay. So from verse number 16, second chapter.
Okay.
नासतो विद्यते भावः
नासतो विद्यते भावः
नाभावो विद्यते सतः
नाभावो विद्यते सतः
उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः
उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः
त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः
त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः
अविनाशि तु तद्विद्धि
अविनाशि तु तद्विद्धि
येन सर्वमिदं ततम्
येन सर्वमिदं ततम्
विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य
विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य
न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति
न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति
अन्तवन्त इमे देहाः
अन्तवन्त इमे देहाः
नित्यस्योक्ताः शरीरिणः
नित्यस्योक्ताः शरीरिणः
anashino prameyasya
anashino prameyasya
tasmad yudhyasva bharata
tasmat yudyasva bharata
ya enam vetti hantaram
yayenam vetti hantaram
yaschainam manyate hatam
yaschainam manyate hatam
ubhau tau na vijanitaha
ubhau tau na vijanitaha
nayam hanti na hanyate
nayam hanti na hanyate
na jayate mriyate va kadachit
na jayate mriyate va kadachit
nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyaha
nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyaha
ajo nityashashvatoyam puranaha
ajo nityashashvatoyam puranaha
na hanyate hanyamane sharire
na hanyate hanyamane sharire
veda vinashinam nityam
veda vinashinam nityam
ya enamajamavyayam
ya enamaja avyayam
katham sapurushah partha
katham sapurushav partha
kam ghatayati hantikam.
kam ghatayati hantikam.
Yeah. You can remain unmuted. I'll unmute a couple of you just so I can get some feedback. Saraswati, Mohan Sai, I've unmuted both of you also. So we are in the second chapter where the first 10 shlokas, 1 to 10, is an introduction and setting up of the context. It is a continuation of the first chapter, which is also a setup, a presentation of the context of the Bhagavad Gita. There is no teaching at all in those verses. So first chapter and the first 10 shlokas of the second chapter. Now we are in the section of the second chapter, which goes from second shloka till till 25th, till 25. This is where Sri Krishna is revealing the nature of Atma. So you can say this is Brahma Vidya, this is Atma Vidya. You can say that, teaching about Atma. Facts about Atma that we never knew. This is the section we are in. And that section will complete. Krishna will conclude in the 25th shloka. So here, Veda Vinashinam Nityam Ya Yena Majam Abhyayam Katham Sapurusha Partha Kam Ghatayati Hantikam. So here, Krishna is concluding the ideas that he presented in shlokas 19 and 20. So 19 being so Yenam Veti Hantaram, etc. So we saw that someone who considers this Atma to be capable of killing and one Atma that is capable of death, such a person does not really know. That we saw. And continuing with the idea in verse number 22, Na jayate mriyate va. Atma is not born, Atma does not die. And some facts that Atma is therefore called Aja, unborn. Atma is Nityaha, not subject to time, eternal was said. And this shloka, Veda Vinashinam, is a conclusion of those two. So you find some of those ideas repeated in this shloka. So Avinashinam, the one who knows this Atma as Avinashi and as Nityam, not subject to time, and also as Avyayam, not subject to decline. How can such a person kill or cause somebody to kill? This is the statement he is making. And for Arjuna, that statement is very relevant because the action is killing. The action that is about to happen is killing. Nobody, there is nothing else going to happen. Nobody is going to talk on the phone. Nobody is going to sit and eat there. It's not a picnic, nothing. So therefore, killing is the main topic here. And so Krishna is using that verb of killing. And Shankara says, this hanti, katham hanti, he says, this is contextual. Contextual. We can't say this text does not apply to us because he's talking about killing and all that. And generally, I don't think about killing others. And so, and I don't think I expect to think about killing others. And therefore, this text doesn't belong to me. This statement we cannot make. Shankara says, he pleads, he says, no, this is just a contextual use of a verb, hanti iti. And you have to take it as, how can Atma act, perform any action? Action seems to take place, but Atma is not the doer. This Shankara reminds us. And because of the importance of this shloka, Shankara introduces the topic of Sarva Karma Sanyasa. So last time, briefly, there was a question about sannyasi, rishi and all these things. And so now this topic comes up. Sarva Karma Sanyasa. So Indians are aware of this idea of sannyasa. Any Indian, anybody born in India, lived in India, born in another Indian born in another country, it may not work. But you have to be born in India and you must have lived in India for some time to appreciate there is somebody called sanyasi who wears a different kind of vastram, and the ochre robe is a sanyasi. Now, that is part of the ashrama. So we have in this Vedic culture, the life of a person is divided into 4 stages. So, brahmacharyam, garhastyam, and vanaprastha and sannyasa. These are the 4 stages. We all know that. And this reflects the stages of maturity of a human being. And brahmacharya, a stage where one essentially studies. Studying is the only role the person plays. There cannot be any other role. And this earning a living, earning a livelihood, all these things, the society takes care of that, should take care of that. A child has to study, period. Whether it is your child or somebody else's child, that child has to study. This is our culture. Because that education is needed. And only in the first 20 years, education can happen. And after marriage, the education goes down the drain. There's no time. Going down the drain means not that the person is not interested in studying. Time is not there. Grihastha means suddenly responsibilities increase and there is not time to study and so forth. That is fine. We are not too worried about that. But brahmacharya means time to study. That is why they say students cannot join politics. They can follow politics a little bit, but you can't go to college and then start this, some kind of a youth political wing of some party. Okay, these kinds of things not acceptable in our culture. And so we have to remind our children that these things are, there is a place for all these things, but not during the brahmachari avastha, brahmachari ashrama. Okay, so that ashrama is there, and so it gives a nice framework for a human being to lead their life. And so the system is set up so we go through that process. Then second is grahastha. So a married life, and marriage is essential. It's an important ashrama. And so marriage is there. And then responsibilities, and then greater awareness of the society, and greater responsibilities, not just my own family, but then beyond my family, my community, my country, etc. All that happens during grahastha ashrama. Then what happens is vanaprastha. So this culture says, hey, you don't get stuck in grahastha ashrama. You don't think this is the only life you have, and there is more. There's a lot more, and that lot more you begin to think about in vanaprastha ashrama, and begin studying the shastram. So swadhyaya pravachanabhyam na pramaditavyam. You've been studying the Vedas, and now you begin to inquire into the Vedas. You've been chanting a few shlokas, begin to understand what the shlokas say. So vanaprastha, and then last is sannyasa. Very interesting, sannyasa. So those days they used to just take off from home and say, "Naanga kalamaram." We're leaving, and they would just take off from the southern part of India. They would just go north, and they don't know where Rishikesh is. They don't know nothing. They will just take off, and by some cart and whatever they had those days, by some horse carriage or by walk or what they used to do, and pack their belongings and leave. What pack their belongings? Okay, how much can you pack when you go to Kashi? Nothing. I saw a video the other day. I don't know how many of you have seen it. This WhatsApp, it makes its rounds, and they showed one nice a vessel, a brass bucket-like thing they showed. Okay, and then imagine a bucket this big, a vessel this big, and brass. And then she's introducing, you may not have seen this, she says. And it's a brass vessel, etc. She says. And then she opens it. And then she opens it and puts that lid outside. Then inside there are two more lids like thing. And she opens it and opens it. And then there are 14, 15 different vessels inside this big vessel. And she says, this is what they used to carry those days. And you can see, you can conduct a small marriage with all these vessels. This is what she says. They have all kinds of vessels to make all the dishes that you normally make. So, but those days, I don't think they carried that. Maybe they did. We don't know. But the idea is separation from family. Very important. I mean, those days, they used to practice all this. What this idea that I am part of this family is still there, but the idea of detaching from the family was there. Can you believe it? Can you imagine any of us doing that? So they used to do all that before. When there was no transportation like we have today, those days they used to do it. And they used to bid goodbye. I used to hear these stories. They used to bid goodbye. And because when you leave and travel like this for so long, there's no guarantee you're going to come back. Even if you want to come back, we don't know whether you can come back. Like that it was. So the sannyasa ashrama was very much part of our lives, remember. And so that person perhaps goes and then studies and then gains sannyasa. Somebody gives sannyasa to that person or persons. So the family, both the husband and wife, gain sannyasa. Now, that vastra is given to them, vastram, that ochre robe, the kashaya vastram is given and become a sannyasi. Now, that person is called a karma sannyasi. Karma sannyasi. Why? Because until then, the husband and wife were doing all the rituals required of a grahastha. So they are vanaprasthi, no doubt, but they are not a sannyasi, so they are bound by the edicts of the Vedas. So nitya karma, naimittika karma has to be done. So sandhya vandanadi has to be done. And so father, mother not there means shraddham has to be done. All these karmas have to be done. Until the day sannyasa is taken. After that, the same Veda that says you must do all these karmas says you are now free from doing any of those karmas. Therefore, that person is called karma sannyas. Person is no longer obligated to do any karmas. In fact, person should not do those karmas. This is the idea. So the Shastram says, now you are free. Why you are free? Because you don't do anything, you are free or what? No. Not because you are not doing anything. You must have matured by now. You must have recognized that Atma is Akarta. By doing all these rituals, by being a grahasti, by being in the grahastashrama and taking all these responsibilities and going through the ups and downs, you must have recognized by now. And the Shastram also has said, Brahma Vidapnoti Param Ityadi, you must have done your Veda Adhyanam. And you must have understood a little bit at least. You must have attended some classes. Some Swamis have come here and there. And they spend a week here, week there. Those days, this Katha Kalakshepam and all Swami Vyakhyanam, Yajna used to happen in all villages. So therefore, you cannot be ignorant about all these things. Therefore, now we are going to assume, you know, Atma is Akarta, you are free. You are always free. And now you are recognized you are free. And so you are a sannyas. This is the idea of giving a sannyas. So karma sannyasi, karma, all the rituals are taken away from this person, therefore karma sannyasi. But then that person need not be a jnani. Need not be a jnani. Because this is a ritual. A ritual takes away my karmas. So externally I don't have to do any karmas. Therefore I am a sannyasi. That is the idea there, karma sannyasi. But then the person may or may not know the tattvam. These verses Krishna is talking about, the person may not know the tattvam of all these verses. And therefore, we have to, Shankara introduces the word, Sarva karma sanyasi. This karma sannyasi may or may not be a Sarva karma sannyasi. Who is a Sarva karma sannyasi? So the person who says, Aham hanta nasmi, aham hantaram nasmi. I cannot be a killer. I cannot be a victim of killing. Aham akarta. I am a non-doer. Atma cannot do anything. Actions seem to happen. Actions happen through me, but I am not an actor. Everything I have owned up for really doesn't belong to me. Huge revelation. So that person who has that knowledge is a Sarva Karma Sannyasi. Why Sarva Karma? How can anybody give up karma? You please tell me. Karma means action. Action is there from the minute we get up till the minute we just close our eyes and just get lost to the world. We are constantly acting. You can't say at all that I have not done any action. You can't say that. So it is impossible to give up action. Krishna also says that. Another place somewhere he will say, Na kaschit kshanamabhi jatu tishtatya karma krit. So like that he says, you cannot, hey Arjuna, you cannot really say that I did not perform or I do not perform any action. Like that you cannot say. Like that Krishna says. So then how Sarva Karma Sannyasa doesn't make sense when a person cannot refrain from acting. So that is why Sarva Karma Sannyasa can only happen through knowledge. Through knowledge. Knowing that Atma is Akarta is the only Sarva Karma Sannyasa. That has to be recognized here. And that is the point that Shankara Bhagavan Bhashyakara is making here. And so that we saw in the meditation session the other day, that about the act of hearing. We say, I heard a sound. I heard a cuckoo chirping. This is the morning outside. So this Mayura, peacock is chirping. Peacock is making some sounds. And I heard. We saw in the meditation session that really speaking, that hearing is superimposed on Atma. I don't know how many of you appreciated that. Superimposed on Atma. Because I am aware, I am a conscious being, my ears are functioning, and the mind is alert, and the ears are functioning and the mind is alert. Then what happens? There are sounds that are being generated, and what should happen? When the ears are picking up those sound bites and the mind is alive, aware, we have to put the clause, right? Mind is alert. We have to say, because the mind is thinking of something else, the mind is focused on the Bhagavad Gita, like this, And so the Bhashyam and all we are studying, so very focused. Then mind is focused, it can't hear. The hearing doesn't take place. So the mind is just alive, alert, conscious. Then words are heard, sounds are heard. So there we can appreciate that a hearing takes place, but I heard. What action did I do? What effort did I take to hear? Correct? We saw that last time. There is no effort expended. There is no will also. Will also is not there. Simply sitting and being aware. What will did I use to say? I used my will and I heard. Can't say that. You can at best say I used my will to keep my room free from noise. I turned off all the devices and I told all the live devices at home, father, mother, brother, sister, children, everybody, I told these live devices that you please be quiet for some time and do whatever you want to do. Just be, don't create any noise. So there I used my free will, but after that free will is not there. So therefore those experiences gave me the idea that Atma could be Akarta. A window of opportunity to recognize that Atma is Akarta. And so here, Sarva Karma Sanyasi is one who has completely understood that. Is also, he or she also called a Vidwan. In Bhagavad Gita, the word comes Vidwan. And so everything that the person did in his or her life, so this bhakti, this karma yoga, which he is going to talk about, all these things have found its fulfillment in Sarva Karma Sannyas. All that lifestyle, the discipline that he or she followed, everything has found its fulfillment in Sarva Karma Sannyas. In the appreciation of Atma, that fulfillment is there. And so what is the use of all the karmas? What is the use? Like that, if somebody asks, the use is very much there. Only when a person dots the I's and crosses the T's. And that is why Grahastha Ashrama is very important. Because that is where responsibility is there. So responsibilities have to be discharged. And dharma becomes paramount, and then only the person is able to gain what the Shastram calls as AntahkaraNa shuddhi. AntahkaraNa shuddhi means a mind that is free from, more or less free from the pressure of like and dislike. Likes and dislikes create a lot of pressure in us. And so more or less free from that, and then this particular vidya becomes very relevant. Okay, so here the Bhagavan Bhashyakara connects this life of karma yoga. So it connects this Vedanta Shastram and then this Vedanta Jnanam, and it connects to the life of karma yoga. How can I how can I develop myself to a point where I can appreciate this jnanam even better? That question must be there in everybody's mind. And so that is where Karma Yoga comes, which Bhagavan Sri Krishna is going to talk about from this 26th shloka onwards in this chapter itself. And so, so these ideas Shankara brings here because of the importance of the shloka, Veda Vinashi. Now, few more topics while we are at this in this topic of Karma Sanyasi and Sarva Karma Sanyasi. So we saw Karma Sanyasi is undergoing a ritual and then becomes a sannyasi. Therefore, no guarantee that knowledge is there. Sannyasa, karmas are given up, physically given up, and the person no longer is expected to do any karmas. And the person no longer, in fact, voting and all these things also really goes off for this person. That is karma sannyasi. Now, the sarva karma sannyasi is there. So, this karma sannyasi can be ignorant. Need not be ignorant, but can be ignorant of Atma. And then there is a grahastha. A grahastha is not a sannyasi, but the grahastha can be a jnani. Both are possible. Both possibilities are there because jnanam does not depend on the dress we wear. It doesn't depend on the ashrama that we are in. It doesn't depend on, the question was asked about in this Advaita Academy, one person asked the question, what about women? Are they qualified to gain this knowledge? They asked this question. And they quoted some shloka from Mundaka, I think, or Mandukya. So, nowhere in our Shastram, it is said that only men or only women are qualified for this knowledge. And it can't, because the minute you say knowledge, then it has to be independent of all these attributes, like gender, etc. So, now this grahastha jnani, what about that person? The sannyasi ajnani is okay. That person can study, now the sannyasa ashrama is meant for the study anyway. Why sannyasa ashrama? Because that shastram is there, which has been waiting for me all along, and I have never had time. Brahmachari, of course, cannot study these kinds of things. And then grahastha is supposed to study some Bhagavad Gita, but somehow time is not there. Kali Yuga, they say. And then it keeps on going, and then keeps on going, and then time doesn't come. So sannyasa ashrama is important. That is when all karmas are taken away, responsibilities are taken away. How beautiful it is! Look at this. How beautiful it is. And then therefore I can now focus. This karma sannyasi can focus on the shastra. Beautiful. That slot is so important. I want all of you to see that. The slot is important. Just like we give the slot to the child, growing child, we give a slot. Hey, you don't worry about food. You don't worry about earning. All this doing odd jobs and collecting some money and all that. Maybe there is some value to that. But no, your job is not to work. We will pay. Indian parents always pay for their children's education. And it's because of this ashrama, brahmachari ashrama, means exclusive pursuit of study. After you study, you get a job, you do whatever you want. Until your studies, I am responsible for you. This is the idea there. So, then you have a grahastha who is a jnani. So, we are contrasting two sets of people, right? So, grahastha jnani, what about that? And here Krishna gives an example of King Janaka. And Janakadaya, there is a shloka. Karmanaivahi samsiddhim asthita Janakadaya loka sangrahamevapi sampashyan kartum arhati. Like that. Arhasi. So he is quoting Janakadaya. He says, Arjuna might have had a question. What about a grahastha? What about somebody who gets knowledge of this Atma? What happens to him or her? And nothing happens to him or her. What should happen? knowledge is there, and that Janaka is a king. And we can put ourselves in anybody's shoes. We are a grahastha, we have responsibilities, and you're an employee or you're an employer, you're running a big company, etc. And knowledge takes place. I am akarta. Clarity is there, crystal clear, so crystal clear that freedom is there. Freedom from what? Freedom from victimizing myself. All along I've been thinking I'm a victim, I'm going to get decimated. And now it's clear that I am everywhere. In fact, this idea is there. Now what about this Janaka, this king? King means immense responsibility. Immense responsibility. And like this, I got a WhatsApp message about our Prime Minister. And everybody, he's doing so much, and he's shouldering the, 130 crores of people. And then this corona and this and that, so much has to be done, and paying attention to all states, what is all happening, all chief ministers, are they doing the right thing, are people getting the right services, migrant laborers, all this is there. So the responsibility is immense. We cannot even imagine what all they have to do and how they execute all this. We don't know. But this Janaka's example is given. That person continues to do whatever they are doing. Continues to do. That Atma Jnanam is gained can only make all these actions better. Previously, the person was doing things as an insecure person. Fundamentally, I am insecure. I must do all these things so I can become secure. Okay? It may be an outgoing action. It may be giving action, and it may be even sacrificing one's life in the battlefield or in the borders of the country. But this is what I do. This is what I must do, and that is what will make me happy, correct? This is what I will do because that will make me happy. This is the idea of an Ajnani. But Jnani doesn't do anything to make me happy. Why? Because Atma is Ananda Swarupa, Sat Swarupa. Therefore, there is no longer seeking happiness. The seeking is not there. Therefore, that person who is not a sannyasi and is still in another ashrama will continue to do what they are doing, but now all his or her actions are coming out of knowledge of fullness. No longer I want something out of it, I want something out of it. But now I am Purnaha, and so I will do my best. In fact, it becomes even better because now I am no longer expecting things out of people, that you must do this to me, etc. There are certain things to be done which have to be done in the best possible way. And so there is no anxiety. Therefore, such a person can actually do things even better. Common question is asked. How can this vidya, this knowledge, it seems to say Atma is an akarta, how then everybody starts pursuing this knowledge, then how the world will run? These ideas can be there. How families will run, how commerce will run, how the country will progress. These kinds of questions are there. So just to conclude that thought, that Janaka is given as an example of a jnani, but a grahastha, not a sannyasi. And that person can be called a sarva karma sannyasi. Look at that. That Janaka, who is a grahastha, not a sannyasi at all, doesn't wear kashaya vastram. He's a king, he can't wear a kashaya vastram. No way. His Guruji will not allow him to take sannyasa because it's a big responsible job. And the country, if the Rishi feels like the country needs the person will not be given sannyasa. So like our story of our Modiji. So the Ramakrishna, this Guruji said, you can't take sannyasa because he wanted to. So he went to Belur Mutt, and he was pretty much a sannyasi. And he was told, no, you have bigger things to accomplish, and you do what you have to do. remain unaffected by all these things, and you will do you have to do. So that person is like that. So continues to do, but a sarva karma sanyasi. Think about it. Look at all these ideas. Sarva karma sanyasi, because the idea of doership is not there. Therefore, karma is given up. Karma is given up. Understand? Karma is given up means does not mean actions don't take place through the person. Does not mean that. For the external eye, for the onlooker, it appears as though the person is very active. Very active. And but that does not mean that the person can, and that happens even when the person has this knowledge that Atma is Akarta. So Bhagavan Bhashikara invokes Janaka into this discussion, and to demonstrate that the action, a jnani and the actions done by a jnani have no connection. No connection means what? Actions can take place, but knowledge can still be there. The world seemed to have been saying that the sun is revolving around the earth. Sun is revolving around the earth. And then knowledge takes place. And one goes to school, etc., learns this idea that no, the sun really doesn't revolve around the earth. Sun doesn't move at all. And it's the earth that has two types of movements and revolution, rotation, and all these things. And after the class, the student is crystal clear. Crystal clear, if not immediately after the class, after some education, the student is very clear about this planetary motion. And tell me now, sunrise continues to happen. Sunset continues to happen. Everything happens, and the person can still stand up and welcome the sun and chant some Surya Namaskara mantra or chant some Aditya Hridayam to welcome the sun, and sun continues to nourish planet Earth and many other planets out there, and everything continues to happen. Nothing changes, correct? Nothing changes. Knowledge is there. Sun doesn't rise, but then I welcome the sun. I look for the sunrise. It's 5:46 a.m. today, and therefore, or tomorrow, and therefore I must get up before some time and take a bath and get ready and be ready to welcome Aditya. All this is possible, knowing very well that I am an Akarta. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. I don't have to do that. The jnani does not have to do that, correct? Does not have to pray, does not have to do puja, because puja is already found its fulfillment. But the jnani may do these things because what? Because that person is a role model now. People are looking at that person as a jnani, as a knowledgeable person, as somebody who knows a lot. Therefore, that person, at least for the sake of others. So, karmanaiva hi samsiddhim astita janakadayaha. Krishna reminds Arjuna that, hey, Janaka, even though he was a jnani, he continued to perform his duties as a king. Because he was in a position where he had to do the duties, and he may have given talks on Upanishads and Vedanta. He may have been teaching Atma Vidya to others, to those who were interested. But the king's responsibilities were discharged. So Shankara reminds us about all these things. And so other religions also, they have the idea that I am not the body. Every religion has the idea, right? So that is why going to heaven is there. This body is not going to heaven. Now, who is going to heaven? No, you will go to heaven after death if you follow my religion. So you will go to heaven. Clearly, they are referring not to this body. They are referring to something that survives the body. call it soul, call it whatever. And this soul survives the death and it goes to heaven and joins and remains in the presence of God, presumably with another sharira, some body. All that they talk about. Say they do talk about, they do recognize that there is somebody, something other than this body, other than this mind. They do talk about, they appreciate. But they cannot, they have not gone to the point of recognizing Atma as Akarta. Yes, the Jivatma travels, we also say that, and keeps on traveling until the Jivatma recognizes the true nature of the Jiva as Akarta. This we are very clear about. And so that's a big difference between our dharma, our Sanatana dharma, and these other Abrahamic religions. Even though there seems to be some similarities, but the similarities end quickly. Okay. So now, having appreciated this Sarva Karma Sanyasa versus Karma Sanyasa, as a person who has recognized Atma as in this sloka, Ajaha, Nityaha, Avinashi, etc. Now a Purva Pakshi comes. Bhagavan Bhashikara introduces a Purva Pakshi, who is now questioning. He says, no, that is, the Sarva Karma Sannyasa is not possible. I don't see that. I don't think it is possible. That Sarva Karma Sannyasa you're talking about is not possible. So then Shankara responds to that. When you say Sarva Karma Sannyasa is not possible, are you saying Atma doesn't exist? Is that what are you saying? No, there is really no Atma. And so there is no such thing called Sarva Karma Sannyasi. And Atma being Akarta and all, not there. It's not believable. Are you saying Atma doesn't exist? And Shankara says, hey, the conscious being is Atma. Even for you to say there is no Sarva Karma Sannyasa, Atma must exist. You must exist. And so he gives that argument. And even to say, I am Karta. No, Atma Akarta, I can't believe it. Atma is a Karta. Why Atma is a Karta? Because, what do you mean Atma is not a Karta? The whole life we are all doers, and without acting nothing happened in this world, and from morning to evening we are only acting, we are doing, and human being is a doer, no doubt, and without doing you can't fill up your stomach. And what are you talking about Atma being Akarta? This idea may be there. So therefore he says, hey, the fact that you're saying you are a Karta tells me Atma is very much there. Atma has to be there in order to say I am a Karta. The Ajnani has to be there. So he says, no. Okay, so you don't mean that Atma does not exist. Then what? Then your point is, okay, Atma is Akarta, is not possible. It's not tenable. It's not tenable. I don't agree with that. And all religions, all other religions say you're a Karta. And you have all punya, you have papa, and you're going to, once you will go to heaven if you follow my God. This is what they say. So this Kartrutvam is very much there. Whichever side, whichever mata you look at, whichever religion, whichever faith you look at, Kartrutvam is very much there. Therefore, it is hard to believe that Krishna says Atma is Akarta. Very hard to believe. Forget understanding, even believing is difficult. As this Purva Pakshi has pointed out. Then Shankaracharya brings out a couple of points. He says, hey, wait. There are times in the day when you are not really doing anything. Means the doership is not there. And maybe simple, you may be watching a very, very interesting show. End of the day, you've done all your duties and you're watching Ramayana, Mahabharata. in India. In America, maybe David Letterman show. I don't know if he's still around. I keep giving this example. I don't know if David Letterman is still talking or not. But so you can enlighten me on that. And so David Letterman show is there and is going on. And David Letterman show means nothing to do. You just drop off all your worries and then you just sit and just listen to what he says. And all kinds of jokes are being made. And so at that time, I'm not a karta at all. Correct? I'm not a karta. The kartritvam is absolutely not there. I'm not even aware where I'm sitting. I'm not even aware of so many things which invoke my free will. There's no free will at all. No kartritvam is invoked. Until I look at the clock. Oh, time's up. Too late. Tomorrow I got to get up. Until that time, the free will is suspended. Correct? So, therefore, Shankara says, hey, there are times in the day, even during deep sleep, there is no kartritvam. And so, this Atma being karta itself is negated in every day. Every day itself it is negated in my own life, in your own life. And so, you can't say Atma, akarta is not possible. Then bhoktritvam, he also quotes this idea that the same example we can use and say, I'm enjoying at that time. I'm enjoying the show. Pure enjoyment. I'm a bhokta. I'm not a karta, but I'm a bhokta. So our Shastram differentiates these two. I'm pure enjoyment. There is nothing. I don't have to do anything. And even I have a mug of something in this America. I learned one habit. You have to carry a mug wherever you go. A big mug you must have. Fill it up with coffee or whatever. And you have a big mug. Then only you are something. Otherwise, you're a nerd. Okay? And so big mug. So at home also, I have a big mug next to me. Because without a mug, I feel like I'm not, I'm not somebody. And so everything, bhoktritvam, just enjoyship is just complete. And the seat is good and everybody is watching. So I'm a bhokta. And so Atma is there, bhoktritvam is there, there is no kartritvam. Shankara reminds this person that, hey, there is no kartritvam there. No doership, no will at all. Will is not there at all. Everything happens automatically. Then what? And Shankara also gives the example. Between two thoughts, there is no ahankara. Between two thoughts, there is no ahankara. So, means when there is a pause between two thoughts, the ahankara subsides. Kartritvam, to consider oneself as a doer, ahankara has to be there. The awareness of the self, the awareness that I must do, I did, and I must accomplish, I need this, I need that, etc. All this we attribute to the ahankara. And he says, between two thoughts, ahankara need not be there. So clearly, Atma is an akarta. It is very much acceptable. You cannot really deny that fact. This is what Shankara says. Then Shankara is going to briefly talk about whether Atma can be known or not. And we talked about it earlier also. Aprameyaha. Some of you may still remember Aprameyaha. So at that time we talked about Krishna says Atma cannot be known. Cannot be known. So we briefly said there. We reviewed this idea of Pramata, Prameya, Pramanam, and Prama, correct? Knowledge. So this is a continuation of that slightly. So we will discuss that in the next class. And we'll talk about negation. What is the nature of this knowledge? And then we'll be ready to go to this verse number 22, which is a very famous verse. and vasamsi jirnani. Like that, there is a shloka. So we will stop now. Om स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्याय्येन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ